The NBA has always sold us one powerful promise that every dribble, every whistle, every buzzer beater is real, pure competition, the best players in the world deciding games with talent, effort, and heart. But what if that promise is a lie? What if some of the most important moments in NBA history weren't decided on the court, but somewhere else entirely? Somewhere darker, somewhere tied to money, gambling, and people we were never supposed to see. Because right now, behind closed doors, federal investigators are quietly circling the NBA, and what they're looking at could shake the league to its core. For years, fans have joked about rigged refs and Vegas calls, missed fouls, soft technicals, suspicious late game whistles. At first, it felt like conspiracy talk, emotional fans coping with losses. But here's the scary part. Those jokes don't feel funny anymore. Not when gambling has become deeply embedded into the NBA's ecosystem. Not when sportsbooks are official partners of the league. Not when millions of dollars change hands on every single game. And definitely not when federal investigations start expanding behind the scenes. This isn't just about one bad call. This isn't about one ref. This is about the integrity of the entire league and whether basketball, as we know it, is being quietly manipulated. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Sports gambling is no longer on the outside looking in, it's inside the house. Betting odds flash during broadcasts, commentators casually reference point spreads, apps are promoted during timeouts, jerseys share screen space with gambling logos. The NBA didn't just allow gambling, it embraced it, publicly, proudly, and it made billions doing so. But gambling doesn't just bring money, it brings pressure, it brings temptation, and it brings people who don't care who wins, only whether the numbers hit. Every NBA game now has dozens of gambling angles, spreads, totals, player props, live bets, quarter bets, even bets on the first foul. That means a single call, one whistle, can swing millions of dollars. Not a series, not a season, one possession. Now ask yourself something honestly. If you were a referee making around $250,000 a year and someone offered you life-changing money to subtly influence a game, not blatantly fix it, just nudge it, would everyone say no? The NBA wants you to believe the system is airtight, but history tells us otherwise. Back in 2007, the league was rocked by one of the biggest scandals in sports history. Referee Tim Donaghy was caught betting on NBA games, including games he officiated. He admitted to making calls that influenced point spreads. He admitted to having inside information. And most importantly, he claimed he wasn't alone. Donaghy said other refs were involved. He said the league knew more than it admitted. He said gambling interests had already infiltrated the game. The NBA's response? Shut it down. Control the narrative. Paint Donaghy as a lone bad actor, a rogue ref, a one-off problem. And for a while, fans accepted that explanation. It was easier to believe the problem was solved, easier to move on. But fast forward to today, and the conditions are far worse. Back then, gambling was illegal in most of the United States. Now it's everywhere, legal, accessible, instant. A teenager with a phone can bet on a fourth-quarter free throw. And where there is easy money, there is corruption. Recently, reports surfaced that federal prosecutors are expanding investigations into illegal betting tied to professional sports, including NBA games. While names haven't all gone public yet, sources suggest that investigators are not just looking at players or bettors, but patterns, officiating trends, betting anomalies, unusual line movements, games where massive money flowed one way and the calls mysteriously followed. This is where things get chilling. Because when data analysts look at modern sports betting, they don't need confessions, They need patterns. If certain referees consistently call more fouls on one side, if certain players suddenly pick up early foul trouble when betting lines are tight, if point spreads are beaten in statistically improbable ways repeatedly, alarms go off. And those alarms are going off right now. Fans have already noticed it. Social media is flooded with clips of questionable calls, superstars getting superstar whistles, or sometimes, strangely, the opposite. Games swinging wildly in the final 2 minutes, coaches screaming, players confused, commentators awkwardly moving on. And it's not just fans. Former players have started speaking more openly. Retired veterans have hinted that certain refs had reputations, that certain games felt different, that momentum sometimes seemed manufactured. Think about it. The NBA is an entertainment business. It doesn't just sell competition, it sells stories, rivalries, comebacks, 7-game series, dynasties, and nothing makes better TV than drama. A sweep is boring, a Game 7 is gold. So when a smaller market team gets favorable calls at home, when a star player avoids foul trouble in a must-win game, when series mysteriously extend, fans notice. The league will tell you it's coincidence, human error, fast game, tough calls. But here's the problem. Human error shouldn't always benefit the same side, and it definitely shouldn't align so often with betting outcomes. Now let's talk about player props, the fastest growing part of sports betting. Fans are no longer just betting on who wins, they're betting on how many points a player scores, how many rebounds, how many fouls. This creates a dangerous situation where individual performance becomes financially valuable in ways that have nothing to do with winning. A star sitting 1 extra minute, a bench player getting unexpected run, a quick foul call, a technical. These things can decide millions in prop bets. And unlike fixing a whole game, influencing a prop is almost invisible. One bad call, one substitution, one missed pass. That's all it takes. The NBA insists that players and refs are monitored, that communication is tracked, that gambling education programs exist. And yes, those systems help, but no system is perfect when the money involved is this big. And the scariest part is, you wouldn't even know it was happening. Games wouldn't look fake, players wouldn't miss shots on purpose, referees wouldn't suddenly make outrageous calls every possession. It would be subtle, plausible, just enough to tilt outcomes without raising obvious red flags. That's how modern corruption works. Now imagine what happens if even one active official or player is caught. Just one. The damage would be catastrophic. Fans would question everything: championships, MVPs, historic moments, careers, legacies. Was that playoff run real? Was that buzzer beater clean? Was that foul actually a foul? Once trust is broken, it never fully comes back. The NBA knows this. That's why it's so aggressive about controlling narratives, why it rarely addresses officiating publicly, why referee reports come days later, quietly confirming mistakes after the money is already gone. But the public mood is changing. Fans are angrier, louder, less willing to accept human error. Sports betting has become deeply aware of margins. 1 point matters, 1 call matters, and when people lose money, they don't forget. Online communities are now analyzing games like forensic investigators, tracking referee assignments, comparing foul differentials, watching betting lines move in real time. This isn't casual fandom anymore, it's scrutiny. And that scrutiny is what scares leagues the most. Because if even the federal investigation expands further, if names start leaking, the NBA won't be able to spin it. It won't be able to hide behind PR statements. It will face the same question every sports league fears. Can fans trust the product? This is bigger than basketball. If the NBA is compromised, it validates decades of suspicion across all major sports. It confirms that when gambling money becomes too intertwined with competition, purity dies. The league is standing at a crossroads. On one path, transparency, accountability, and serious reform, independent officiating review, public referee grading, real consequences. On the other, denial, silence, and damage control. Which path they choose will define the future of the NBA. Because once fans believe the game is manipulated, even slightly, the magic is gone, and no amount of highlight reels or superstar marketing can bring it back. So the next time you watch a close game, the next time a whistle blows at the perfect moment, the next time a spread magically hits by half a point, ask yourself one question. Was that basketball? Or was that business? And if you think this is just a conspiracy, remember this. Every major sports scandal in history was once called a conspiracy, until it wasn't.